I'm Charlie Randall. I'm the CEO of McIntosh Laboratories. In 1956, we built the main facility, which is what we're at today. One thing that's unique about McIntosh, the company is completely vertically integrated. So in today's standards, especially for US manufacturers, you don't see from the beginning of the raw material to the end of the product. So the first step, the raw boards, they go across a silk screening machine where they're putting on the solder paste. The solder paste is the consistency of toothpaste, but it's squeezed through a silk screen, which matches the pattern on the board. After that, the board will move into the oven where that paste is heated up and liquefied, and when it cools, the parts are then soldered to the board. So they'll make their electrical connection at that point. Basically in here is where we process all of our sheet metal, which is anything on the amplifier, preamplifier, all the products that you see painted black. That material by itself represents about 1/3 of the cost of the McIntosh product. So it's a very expensive material, but it's also a very highly cosmetic material. The sheet metal has to be painted. This is a continuous conveyor paint line. The conveyor is about 450 feet long. The process, you hang the raw material in front of the painter where they can either powder coat or paint it, and then the finished material comes out here. This is where we wind the output transformers. This is what is McIntosh's secret sauce. Engineering will generate a winding instruction for the output transformer, and each of the output transformers are different from unit to unit. We tell Sandy to put so many turns until ultimately the right amount of windings are put onto the transformer. After the transformers are wound and cored, they have to be put into their enclosure. Their enclosure is an aluminum can. And what we do is place the transformer into the can and then fill it the rest of the way up with tar. The way we process the glass as far as cutting the glass is we use a high pressure water jet. What we do is we take the air, the water, and the garnet and mix it at one of the focal tubes down at the bottom at a very high pressure. So they've done all the subs up until a certain point before they start the final assembly. They typically build in two teams. One person is subbing the chassis, the other person is actually doing the final assembly. The last thing they do to every amplifier is they're going to put all the cosmetics on. After the units get to this point, the units are assembled enough where we can actually send them through final test. Every amplifier, every preamplifier, every home theater processor, everything that we build gets 100% tested at this point. Here we have the anechoic chamber. This is where we can actually make measurements of parts of the loudspeaker and know the actual effects of the room. It just allows us to zero in on any type of acoustical noise or acoustical response that we want to get from the products. This is where it all begins and all ends. The raw material comes in here, goes through QC inspection, and then finished goods come in from manufacturing. You can see the boxes of McIntosh. Those products right there are destined to go to Japan. We use the highest end components that we can purchase on the market, and what that allows us to do is basically designed the amplifier for a very flat response with very low distortion. However, the artist wanted the recording to sound after they're done in the recording studio. Our job really is to make that as transparent as possible so that the end customer is hearing exactly what the artist wanted to hear.